For Caribou Prince George, resuming debate.
Thank you. To the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions. Minister, how many nurses reported being physically assaulted last year?
The Honourable Minister.
That would be provincial data, Madam Chair, with regards to their health workers force.
The Honourable Member.
61%. How many paramedics and firefighters have experienced workplace violence?
The Honourable Minister.
Again, that is data that is under provincial purview to engage with and address.
The Honourable for Caribou Prince George.
84%. How many healthcare workers reported mental health issues last year?
The Honourable Minister.
That is why we have created a nurse's toolkit for mental health, Madam Chair.
Honourable Member.
92%. Almost 50% of those were assaulted 11 times or more. How many nurses considered leaving their jobs?
Honourable Minister.
We know that health workforce retention is an issue across the country, Madam Chair, due to burnout and other issues of
The Honourable Member.
2/3. Does the Minister think violence in the workplace is acceptable?
The Honourable Minister.
past legislation is such that it's unacceptable, Madam Chair, and no.
The Honourable Minister, Member.
Has the Minister read the recommendations of the 2019 HESA report on violence facing healthcare workers in Canada?
The Honourable Minister.
I have some time ago, Madam Chair, but as you would well know, my colleague, the Minister of Health, would be addressing workforce safety.
The Honourable Member.
Does the Minister know how many of the recommendations have been acted on by our government?
The Honourable Minister.
That would be an appropriate question for my colleague, the Minister of Health, who addresses healthcare work.
The Honourable Member.
Has the government targeted any funding for workplace violence prevention with healthcare?
The Honourable Minister.
That would be under provincial jurisdiction, Madam Chair, as the member well knows, but we are all encouraging safety in all workplaces.
The Honourable Member.
Is the Minister aware that my bill C-321 is a direct result of the 2019 HESA recommendations on workplace violence?
The Honourable Minister.
I am aware.
Can the Minister tell the House how many days it's been since C-321 was unanimously passed by the House of Commons?
The Honourable Minister.
No, I am not aware, Madam Chair.
The Honourable Member.
1 day. Why is the government blocking passage of my bill in the Senate?
The Honourable Minister.
The Senate is independent, Madam Chair. The other place has its own rules and timelines.
Can the Minister tell what she has done to ensure that C-321 passes the Senate quickly?
I have a point of order. The Honourable Member for Kingston and the Islands.
I completely appreciate that there's latitude to go beyond the scope of perhaps the estimates a bit, but we're not even talking about the estimates now. Now we're talking about an individual private member's bill. The last 3 or 4 questions have been on this.
So,
this is a debate about the estimates with this particular department.
So I think part of that is actually a debate, but I do want to remind the member that he's to address the questions and comments through the chair to the member relative to the matter that is before the House. The Honourable Member for Caribou Prince George. 2 minutes.
Madam Speaker, my bill will make it an aggravating factor during sentencing if the victim of assault is a nurse or a first responder. Can the Minister tell this House what actions she can take to pass Bill C-321 today, tomorrow, or any time?
The Honourable Minister.
It's unfortunate that the member isn't familiar with the civics and processes of this place, because the Senate is independent, Madam Chair, and therefore they work on their timelines and their decision-making process. I'm sure they're having a robust debate on the bill.
I want to remind the member that the questions are to be with respect to the estimates, and so I just want him to ensure that his questions are pertaining to the estimates. The Honourable for Caribou Prince George.
Chair, on that with response, I did ask how much money was in Budget 2024 with respect to violence in the workplace.
To ensure that the conversation didn't, that your response wasn't going to be affected by the time. You have 1 minute and 11 seconds left.
Minister of Health, the C-64 provide for government-funded heart medications?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
No.
The honourable member.
To the Minister of Health, does C64 provide for government-funded ALS medications?
The honourable minister.
To the Minister of Health, does the C64 provide for government-funded asthma medications?
No.
The honourable minister. I just want to remind the honourable minister to wait until I recognize him so that we can give time for the light to come on and his answer can be heard. The honourable member.
To the Minister of Health, does C64 provide for any other funding for, or government funding for any other rare diseases?
The honourable minister.
Action for drugs for rare diseases are under a separate action, and that money is available. $1.5 billion will be spent.
The honourable member.
The question was regarding C64. Can the Minister of Health tell if C64 provides for any other government funding for any other ailments other than diabetes?
The honourable member is out of time, but I'll allow the honourable minister to respond.
The intention of the bill is for diabetes and for contraception.